is disturbing everybody.
Thank you.
The Prime Minister said that they have only 73 centers. The minister, in her report, that they have only 73 centers. Why don't you?
Thank you, Honorable Yume. Then Kumi, Honorable Question.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I would like to put this into context. We are all parents here, and think through this, that you've struggled. You're that parent from Kakumiro, Amur, Amolata, Koboko, who has sold produce, goats, and your child has graduated. There's a reason to celebrate, and you have to wait another 2 years to be deployed and to be paid. That's the context in which we should look at it from. Right Honorable Speaker, I think the mischief is in the planning, and I think we are crucifying Ministry of Health wrongly. It's a financial issue, and it's an education issue, a planning issue. Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, there are 17 universities that train health workers. Kampala International University produces half of these. As somebody who trained, I'm not so sure how you can have 500 students in a class, both for dentistry, medicine, nursing, and midwifery. We need to interrogate how they are doing it. Do they have the requisite number of lecturers, or we are getting half-baked personnel? Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, my prayer is we find this money, pay the interns, and we reset the clock to zero. As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, it's not only about paying the interns, but it is where we are going to accommodate them. Mbale Regional Referral Hospital needed 590 million shillings, the price of a V8 Land Cruiser, which the front bench buys every financial year for their ministers. But we could not provide this in the budget. Masaka Regional Referral Hospital needed 600 million shillings to complete their ICU. It was an unfunded priority. So it is beyond only payment for interns. There is equipment, there is the consultants who are going to train these people, and so many other things. So we need to look at it from that context. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Question.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And thanks to the Almighty for saving you. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the colleagues for the prayers you gave. At the time I was seriously struggling for health, and I want to say thank you to the Almighty God. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the statement placed by the Honorable Minister. And in one of the statements, she said, the Minister of Finance, even went ahead to make a statement to say, with no hope for the supplementary. According to the presentations here, we actually have to support this supplementary for this course. May I find out from the Ministry of Finance whether it is ready to support the position of Parliament, because this is critical. Like other colleagues have said, during planning, this is the time I also call upon the Budget Committee to listen to some of the priorities that chairpersons of committees present at the time when we are doing budgeting. Because I want to believe that the committees discussed about the importance of internship and even generated figures which needed to be honored. Where is the problem? I'm happy the members are supplementing, but of course, I have to be on record. Then finally, as other members have already stated, one of the most expensive courses in this country is medicine, the medical courses. And many people have given testimonies to that effect. May I find out what can be taken as a step forward to have the supervisors increased? As the minister placed the challenges, she said one of the problems is also what? The shortage in the supervisors. Whose problem is that? Is it that we are not allocating money to have these people recruited so that they can do the supervision? But basically the problem has been on what? On the inadequate funding or inadequate budget, which we must find a solution to, Mr.
Thank you. Now, Attorney General, we have a dilemma, for goodness sake. Because personally, I've been paying for some of these students. Okay? And the students have come, and I'm ready to pay their allowances like how I've been paying their fees. I'm ready. They have completed the course. They don't want your allowance even. Okay? What they want is to qualify so that they go and take up other opportunities. Now what can we do? Because why I want the Attorney General to guide. If I've done my part, the rest is in your court as a government. What do we do about it? Me, the ones I'm paying for, sir, okay, I can meet their allowances because I have been paying their fees, which is higher than the allowances you're just giving. So can you allow them if they don't want allowances? They volunteer.
I thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Actually, when the Honorable Member raised that issue, it really excited me. Because, yes, because we need to, and I'm happy we are having this conversation, we need to start thinking outside the box and start debating these issues. So if, for example, people are willing, I am sure as government we should be able to go and make those facilities available if the cost can be met. And then also for the cost of the other interns, when you look at the number, it's not so much. I think it's 18 billion or something like that. I think we can sit down and really rationalize some of our own. This issue of supplementary budget, it's very easy to say supplementary budget. But the money to fund the supplementary budget must be found somewhere. So what we, even that is an option. Even the fuel refund, all those things are options. Those are also options. We just need to sit down and think about these things as players in this space. So even State House, all of them are open. So what we need to do, Right Honorable Speaker, is that we just need to sit down. The issue that has been raised and everyone has appreciated it. So what we need to do is to sit down soberly. If the committee could actually sit down and look at these issues, we have got part of the answer is those who are ready. That's an easy win. That's a quick win. So as the executive, we need to just go back and make a policy which allows those who are ready to meet their own cost to do it. I think.
Because now, honorable colleagues, you see a very good example they've given, okay? When you read in the statement, they are saying those of pharmacy and dental for government, the ones which government has been paying for, have been pressed for internship. What about those ones whom government has not been paying for? If they can meet their cost, okay, why not allow them? Because sometimes, yes, because you see, now this is discriminatory. They have only pressed the other ones, but the excuse they are giving is, I don't have money to deploy you, okay? Now, if you don't have money, in my 4 or 5 years of study, have you been paying for me? That's the question. And the reality should sink in. Honorable Attorney General and the Minister for Health, let's listen to one another. I wanted us to listen to one another. I'm giving a discriminatory example here in our state, in the minister's statement, where you are saying those of pharmacy and dental who were on government sponsorship, okay, and are in short supply, have been deployed. The ones on private have not been given a chance because you are saying you don't have money. Okay, no, listen. You are saying you don't have money. Now, me who has been paying for myself for all these years of study, if you want, where is boss? That's why some of these people, I'm sorry, that's not parliamentary language of boss. Honorable colleague, Honorable colleague, there is already inequality whereby those of government have been given a chance to complete. Those of private, if they can meet their course, can't they be allowed to complete? Honorable Sewungu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's very, the Attorney General, you have given us a good answer with all the options. But why the Speaker was asking you, if giving a legal opinion, what statutory instrument do you need to allow these people to pay money for their children, for those in private? You get me? There is another challenge, Mr. Speaker, about the health facilities. You know that they are also limited. There is even elevation of those medical practitioners, trainers, who must reach that level of supervising these students. That's yours. When you read the statement of the minister, yes, it is okay. But there is this tendency, Mr. Speaker, of always coming to Parliament with not giving proper justifications. When you took your policy statement and the budget estimates to Committee of Health, did you indicate this fund and the figure? The answer is in abstract. You didn't. They didn't. I am seeing the chair is nodding in support of my side. I see. So if you did that, so where is the failure? But Mr. Speaker, as you stated, because you cannot ask parents to pay privately without a legal instrument. We need that. Explain that to this House so that these parents can continue doing so. And because there is nothing to do. You have almost 3 years back now.
Thank you. Honorable Kamara.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank God for saving your life. 2 points. The first point is about regulation. I have seen documents from National Council of Higher Education recommending some universities to train 100 medical students. But when it is time of graduation, you hear these medical schools graduating over 300 medical doctors. So one thing we should do as Parliament is to interface with the National Council of Higher Education and ask them, you recommended 100 medical students. Why is this university graduating 300? Then we interface with the council, Uganda Medical Council, Uganda Council of Dental and Medical Practitioners, and ask them. Then we interface again with the universities, which are training way beyond what the National Council of Higher Education recommended.
No, but Honorable Kamara, for clarification, okay? Let me help you with the information. This has started this year.
No.
Listen. I know universities now, they have written to them, we renew your course, okay? But admit only 60. Now, there are universities which still had people in the pipeline. Now they have already written to universities. And universities are even protesting by them. But at least National Council has put it. But now, before, they were not only giving you a threshold. No, it has just started. So, people who are in the pipeline, will they pay a price? You should first finish people who are in the pipeline, okay? And then now the recommendation is right.
The second issue, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for that information. The second issue I want to present is about internship versus studentship. When you're a student, you are paying as a student. When you become an intern, a medical intern, a nurse intern, a pharmacy intern, you are different from a student because you are doing work. Therefore, me, I don't support government getting free labor from these interns and hiding that some interns, just because they were paying for them, they were paying for their studies. This time they are working for you, you must pay them.
Are
I beg to
teachers,
submit.
are teachers on school practice paid because they are working there in class?
They
they
should be
paid?
paid. If they are not, they should
No,
be paid
so-
because
Are
Last,
lawyers
right
working in
honorable
the government
Speaker.
paid?
last right honorable Speaker, government has been emphasizing that they are supporting sciences, they have enhanced teachers' salaries, they are saying they going to be paid, but now the cream of is medical, is pharmacy, is nurses. Now they have trained them, they cannot pay. Now the Minister of Education must also come out and tell us, is science still a policy of government? If you have failed, please, you must pay the sciences or say that the government has failed. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Namuga. Then Shadow Minister for him. Honorable Batu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank my colleague, the Minister from Zimbabwe. You know, I was also a former Minister, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to submit on a few issues, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, we are looking for 18 billion shillings. We do appreciate that there might be changes in policy, but at a later stage, we are talking about 18 billion. We have just given Iroko 300 billion. We gave Day Farmer 500 billion. We have a classified expenditure under State House and Office of the President of close to 500 billion. Right, Honorable Speaker, I do propose that in the interest of having continuity and stopping this current challenge, let us look for the 18 billion. Yes, we should look for it. We can get the 18 billion, then we plan better. Right, Honorable Speaker, I remember the same ministry had areas of close to 80 billion that led us to reduce this payment to interns from 2 million to 1 million. It was reduced, we agreed. So it was 2.5, then to 1 million. And we've also failed to pay 1 million. So for me, I do suggest that let's go back and plan better, but look for the 18 billion. And the source of the 18 billion, one, classified budget. Go to the classified and get 18 billion. If you cannot, go to ROCO. ROCO, get 300 billion from, get 18 billion from ROCO. If you cannot, go to Day Farmer where you allocated 500 billion, get 18 billion. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have the money for now to sort this mess as we plan better.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, just from Honourable Namuga's submission which the MPs are prodding, from Honourable Namuga's submission which the MPs are prodding, for us to have a structured debate, if you provided the 18 billion, will it provide also the necessary specialist supervisors? Will it provide the space? Because from your statement, you're saying per specialist for interns. Okay? So that might be money for allowances. But then we need specialists to supervise these interns. Yes, listen. You see, you have been told the numbers have now grown. So beyond money, there are two critical things. Specialists to do the supervision. Space, where to put them. Okay? Where they can be pressed. Because I was talking to one specialist who told me that, look, I'm in a theater, you've given me an intern. I'm surrounded by 12 interns for training. How will I teach these people? And how will I know they are concentrating? How, you get it? Yeah? No shifts of patients. You remove one patient, you put another. So, why I'm asking these questions, Honorable Namuga and Honorable colleagues, is that of the money we need, is it only 18 billion or we need something beyond so that we can have more specialists? Okay? And so, you can answer that then, Shadow Minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, allow me to thank the members of this August House for this concern. And my prayer, as again we had come in, is that you allow us as a ministry, and I want to thank you, Honorable colleague, Honorable Namuga. This time we are going together nicely. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm asking that you allow us to go back. We go and bring our strategic plan how to solve this internship deployment to zero. We come back and before the Committee of Health, discuss with them with what we are bringing to take care of the issues of the allowances, to take care issue of the space, to take care of the specialists, and after from there, we come back to this August House. On the way forward, we go back for proper gain planning, because this involves Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, where to come with the policy and regulation, and Ministry of Health.
Thank you.
So I would say that because it is an issue, we must put to an end.
Thank you.
And I thank you for your guidance. Let's put this to zero. We plan for the future so that this issue does not occur again. And we come to this house, and together we find the remedy for once and for all.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Now, honorable colleagues, really, from my little experience of 9 months in the cabinet, I think this would be, like the minister has said, it doesn't even help for me to say tomorrow the committee start handling. I think we would need to give minister space to coordinate with the cabinet secretariat this matter. She takes a statement to cabinet, picking our views on Monday, and then on Tuesday she appears before the committee. So we give the committee Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday the committee reports back on the floor. You think, Minister, that would work?
Right, Honorable Speaker, Monday we are not meeting, maybe the other next Monday. No, we have another. Now you want to go to cabinet? I'm giving information. Monday is International Youth Day. So it's International Youth Day, and we want to celebrate with the youth. So cabinet will all of us be there. So if we can be.
Honorable colleagues, give me time. I'll consult with the Prime Minister and all that. Then we see. Because it's an urgent matter. It's very urgent. But again, whereas it's urgent, I know the minister cannot sort it out alone without going to cabinet. Otherwise, we shall be roasting her with how we do what, but she can't do much from the direction it's taking without going to cabinet. Or, if cabinet cannot, at least the head of state needs to be appraised on the matter too. So, honorable colleagues, I will guide you on this matter tomorrow. Next item. Next item.
Item 5, statement by the leader of the opposition in response
the
to the president's address.
Sorry, the shadow minister is a member of the Committee on Health, where the statement is going. Yeah. Okay, let me allow a word from the shadow minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable
But
Speaker.
you don't provoke debate again.
No.
We've guided.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you for the wise guidance you've issued. Indeed, this is a matter that can only be decisive in the Committee of Health. Notably, the minister highlighted 78 centers, that they've grown from 58 to 78. But I can see outright that we have 62 regional referral hospitals. We have 62 general hospitals, 17 regional referral hospitals. That brings up the number to 79, but I've not talked of the specialized hospitals, like the Uganda Heart Institute, the Cancer Institute, the Women's Specialized Hospital, and I've not talked about the national referral hospitals, meaning there are gaps we can exploit to really widen the number of interns. Secondly, Kamuli General Hospital has not received interns. despite it having specialists. It has a pediatrician, it has a surgeon, it has 4 obstetricians, but no intern received. Bujiri, which has a fewer number of specialists, has got interns. So this is to highlight that there are gaps still existing. But last and most important, Uganda has ever registered its name in the area of medicine. You can go to South Africa and many other African countries and find Ugandan doctors. I have colleagues who are teaching and working in Namibia. So there is something we did very good at that time for us to write our name high in the field of medicine. And what we've been doing is that we've been paying interns. We've been supervising interns directly. There should never be a reason for us to stop doing what we've been doing right and what has made us write our name up there.
Switch on.
As we make all suggestions, there is a good consensus we reached last year. Interns were getting in excess of 2 million. As Dr. Kamara has stated, 2.5. We reduced that to 1 million so that we can take up all the interns. I was surprised that there was a backlog. So in the Committee of Health, as we interface with the Minister, we shall establish what the money we passed during last year's supplementary, exactly what it did, and establish the right backlog, and then look at the resources we have this year, look at the possibilities of having private facilities like Nakasero, like in Zambia, supporting us so that we get rid of the backlog, as Dr. Ayuma said. Now let us clean up so that we start on a clean page where we admit from universities what we are able to consume. So as we are doing this, how many private hospitals can we bring on board? Because interns are supportive. They will support the functioning of those hospitals, and it's an idea that they will buy and get on board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable Minister, you can see this is not just a matter of finance, it's also mainly a matter of policy. Just go tweak that, then you come to the committee. Like, I will guide the House tomorrow after consulting tonight. Next item, the debate for State of the Nation, I want to give it enough time when we are very fresh. So let's first clear items under 7.
Item 7, laying of papers in accordance with the Rule 33 of the Rules of Procedure. 1, the Regulation of Interception of Communication Regulations 2024.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I raise under Rule 31 of the Rules of Procedure of the 11th Parliament to lay before this August House the Regulation of Interception of Communications Regulations 2024. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, Section 16(1) of the Regulation of the Interception of Communications Regulations Act 2010 mandates the Minister for Security to make regulations for carrying into effect the provisions of the Act. The Regulation of Interception of Communications Regulations 2024 were published in the Uganda Gazette on 26th of July 2024 as statutory instrument number 60 of 2024. The regulations seek to primarily improve the process for SIM card registration in Uganda. I accordingly beg this Honourable House to consider the Regulation of Interception of Communications Regulations 2024 duly laid before this House in accordance with Section 16(2) of the Regulation of Interception of Communications Act 2024. I beg to move.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. These are for information purposes. Let the clerk put them in the library for access, for easy access by members. Next.
Item 7.2, report of the Committee on Science and Technology and Innovation, benchmark VIST, regarding science and technology for the sustainable development at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research in Pretoria, South Africa.
Before the chair comes, the Minister for Education, there is a clarification, some more. He wanted to give us a memoranda on the bill.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Other Speaker. I beg to, as I was laying papers, I'd forgotten to lay the National Teachers Bill 2024 memorandum, and I beg to lay it on the table, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you. This was accompanying the bill, the teachers' bill, for record purposes. You have a procedure matter, Honorable Question?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, when we received the matters of national urgency last week, the matter on leasehold land remained hanging. Right Honorable Speaker, when you direct us to meet with the ministers, he doesn't have any order how to meet the Prime Minister, where to begin from. I don't feel it is very difficult for us to address this issue, for the line minister to avail to us how they have been renewing leasehold land, what we call former public land, for the last 2 years, and how they have been transforming leases into freehold, because our people are getting landless, and it is an urgent matter, Right Honorable Speaker. So I would request that is a simple thing for our line minister to come with a presentation. Who is benefiting from these renewals and who is benefiting from these transformations from leasehold to freehold?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Honorable colleague, if I remember very well, we agreed you structure it and the Prime Minister answers it this Thursday. Okay? But the Prime Minister, a minister is under the Prime Minister. It's the same. Whether it's a line minister or what, it's the same government. Okay? So to me, I think if you could do that quickly, the way you've brilliantly brought it up here, if you could put it in writing, I'll ensure the Prime Minister on Thursday she answers it. And usually, if I can tap into my practice when I was a government chief whip, the Prime Minister gets these answers from the ministry. She doesn't sit on her own and develop these answers for written questions. So let's do it and we ensure it is answered. Okay? Thank you. Yes, next. It was Chair. Yes, Chair Committee on Science and Technology. 10 minutes should be enough, Chair.
For 3 reports.
Thanks so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I move under Rule 33 of our Rules of Procedure to present 3 reports. I need your guidance whether I should present one by one.
Honorable, they read the report you're supposed to present. We keep calling an item for the answer to be clear.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at report number 1, the report on the Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation, the benchmark visit regarding science technology for sustainable development at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research in Pretoria, South Africa. I wish to lay.
Item.
No, Honorable, this is under Rule 33. You're supposed to give us a brief, and then I will appoint time for debate.
One by one?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because that's the item we are on, so give us a brief.
Okay. On that. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the Science, Technology and Innovation Committee, I wish to express gratitude for your unrelenting support towards science, technology, and innovation in Uganda. Your direct involvement and advocacy have been instrumental in driving the development of STI in our nation. Pursuant to Rule 168A, under which the STI committee derives mandate to operate, a number of hitch marks and hindrances have been met while executing the committee mandate, especially the oversight mandate. This has been fundamentally been affected by lack of legislation. The legislation and legal framework ecosystem on science, technology, and innovation is still wanting. Right Honorable Speaker, we have just heard the legislative agenda for this session, and STI is still missing on that legislative agenda. The STI sector is in the country anchors on the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology Act of 1990, CAP 209. The act has not been reviewed nor amended to suit the ever-changing trends of technology in the country and the world over. And through you, sir, I would like to request the Minister of Science and Technology to come up with a legal framework on science, technology, and innovation. Whereas government established the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation in 2016 in recognition of the dire need to have a sector to regulate and coordinate STI in the country, the Ministry of Science and Technology was disbanded in 2021, and a new administrative unit was established. The Secretariat for STI President's Office was established. However, the legislation and legal regime was not reviewed to be aligned with the current administrative unit.
Procedure?
Right Honorable. The Honorable Chair is supposed to present a report of the benchmark in South Africa. What she's elaborating, there are issues obtaining in Uganda. Are we proceeding well when the Honorable Member is informing us about the status in Uganda, not what they saw in South Africa?
The benchmark, of course, is based. The benchmark is based on the gaps.
Honorable Chair, it's me to roar, and you take your seat when I'm going to roar. Yeah. When a colleague is on the floor, we can't have two colleagues standing on the floor. No, Honorable, why I told you have 10 minutes. If you read Rule 33 sub Rule 2, it says upon laying of the report, and this covers reports of parliamentary delegations abroad. Upon laying of the report under sub Rule 1, the reader of the delegation or the member shall present a brief summary of the report and highlight the key lessons learned and recommendations contained in the report. Just highlighting, not going into details. So we can avoid things here, just you highlight key findings and recommendations. Yes, Honorable Nandara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are aware Parliament recently changed the leadership of committees. And it is maybe the reason why other new members who are now leading committees are not aware, one, of our rules of procedure, two, of their roles as chairs of committees, three, of what to present when they have been told to present. Wouldn't it be procedure right, Mr. Speaker, that you induct these chairs so that they can quickly help us to understand? Why I had kept quiet was, I think, no, you can see. You can see, Mr. Speaker, even they don't know
why. It's procedure. It's procedure.
You can see, Mr. Speaker, you can see. That's why you need some of us to help. Eh? Wouldn't it be procedure right, Mr. Speaker, that you really induct our colleagues so that we don't really get up to start bashing them. It doesn't look nice. I would be very glad to be one of the participants or one of the facilitators to assist these colleagues. I thank you. With it, Dr.
Thank you. Number one, I want to inform you that Dr. Kiki is serving a second term as Vice Chair of the Committee on Science and Technology, and it's a standing committee. And she's been an astute legislator and a very good chair, presenting many reports. Number two, even then, even me, or even we, the senior legislators, I know Honorable Nanda, when you were chair, you had technical staff to help you because those things are many. Now, the clerk of the committee should have helped a member to, this is the summary, to prepare a summary, because she cannot write a report of the committee without the clerk of the committee. That's very important. Now, number three, for the new chairpersons, it might have been short, but we had an induction, one-day induction for the new chairpersons, take them through how to work with the committees and all that. Yeah, but she was moving very well. Only that Honorable Nanda, I think, wanted...
Thank you, Chair, for the guidance. I was giving the members the background as to why we went to benchmark. Because the reason of why we went out is because we lack an executive agenda. And so I was giving you a brief. And therefore, straight go against that background which I was giving, that actually we lack a legal framework on STI. So it is against this background that a team led by Honorable Chia Remigo, the chairperson then, that they went to attend a conference organized by the African Institute for Capacity Development from 24th to 29th April 2023 in Pretoria in South Africa. The theme of the conference was Science and Technology for Sustainable Development. What did the team find out? Mr. Speaker, the attendance of the conference was to find out how in South Africa address science and technology and innovation in terms of the legal framework, so that we can come back here and address the issue of the legal framework, which I've been talking about. After the conference, and this led to another continued workshop, because from the conference we realized that there was a need to visit some of the agencies that actually implement science, technology, and innovation. And one of the agencies was the Center of Scientific Research in Pretoria. And what we found out is that the Center for Technology partners with government, and government injects 15% of its national budget to this Center for Scientific Research in Pretoria. In terms of budget allocation, the government of South Africa puts a lot of money in this center. This center could be is the center for innovation, where most of the scientists.
Chair, if you could help me, just key lessons learned, okay? Not findings, not what you found, but key lessons learned and recommendations.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. Through multidisciplinary research and technological innovation and industrial scientific development, this center has been able.
Procedure.
Mr. Speaker, as we realize, and as from her reading, we could see that it indicates that she was not part. There was a chairperson of the delegation. And as we've realized that there wasn't any summary prepared, won't it be procedure right, Mr. Speaker, we only stay this matter, and it's allocated time such that the Honorable Chairperson is given a moment, other than now these continuous interruptions and also reading continuously. I beg, Mr. Speaker, we've listened and we get something that is really not making us to come in every time. I beg to ask you, and really, in such moments where she may not have attended in person as the leader of delegation, can this House allow, and we only stay this matter for a good presentation per se. I beg to move and ask for your procedure, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, would you find it more comfortable that way? I want to give it to Chair.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it appears members are not understanding what I'm presenting. Because science is not, they are not understanding. Because I try to bring them on board through the legal framework, how we are lacking the legal framework, and then we went for the conference, and that's what they have failed to understand me. So I don't know what I can do either. They read the report, but I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but they are not ready.
Now,
they are not ready to listen, because I know what I'm trying to present and how the one conference led to another and what we found out, and they are not ready to listen.
No, Honorable Chair.
Yes, please.
Yes. Members are understanding you. Okay? Yeah, because on the record of Parliament, we can't say that members are failing to understand you because it's science. No, members are understanding you. What I would propose, I think what should have been done is to do that summary of a brief, and then it's also uploaded. Then you would be flowing very well. And clerk, please, clerk, inform all committee clerks to ensure this is always done. You do a brief summary of around 2 pages, and then you go for that. So since there is no meeting of minds on how things are moving, okay, and very few people like Nandara are understanding, I would propose that since we are not debating the report now, and it has been laid, we go to the next one. But members go read now the report, understand it very well, and then you come, you engage a professor.
Item 723, report of the Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation on a benchmark quiz regarding best practices in science and technology parks in Turkey.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. This is another benchmark report on a visit to Turkey. And in Turkey, the team visited different organizations in trying to benchmark. One was the legal framework on the best practices of science, technology, and innovation. So there are 3 organizations that were visited. That is University Techno Park, Intertech Technology Transfer Center, and Gebze Technical Park. The findings. The committee established that the administration of Technical Park is mandated to inform companies within the Technical Park of available opportunities for collaboration and funding. The companies are well established to mentor the startups. The mentoring is both for the peer-to-peer scientists and vertical with companies that are established and with more experience and expertise. The government of Turkey creates conducive environment for investment, and this is done through giving tax incentives to companies to encourage them to establish themselves in the technical park and partner with universities for research purposes. These include waiving export duty to encourage companies to expand out of Turkey and income tax exemption, among others. The delegation also observed that Turkey has a committee that is responsible for providing technical guidance on the operation of the park, selection of projects, and for monitoring and implementation of projects to ensure that selected projects translate from research into viable projects. The committee is comprised of a director of technical parks and qualified personnel from universities and industry. On the other hand, Uganda is trading well.
Honorable, you're reading a report.
These are findings.
Let's go to another
Industrial
one.
parks are established and fall under the mandate of the Uganda investment. The delegation also learned that Turkey has a clear development plan, and as a result, the parks are organized in terms of sectors. Mr. Speaker, honestly, these are the findings.
No, please, Honorable, I'm referring you to your own rules.
Yes.
You are not supposed to read the report. You are supposed to highlight. Okay? This is just very simple, your own rules.
I'm highlighting what we found
No, you're
out.
reading a report. You're reading a report.
So the delegation also learned that Turkey has a clear development plan, and as a result, the parks are organized in terms of sectors. As such, the STI committee derived the following recommendations. The government of Uganda should strengthen the legal framework for industrial value chain.
Yeah.
The government of Uganda should put up measures and guidelines on how tertiary institutions and industries can work together so as to have research and innovation implementation. And the committee also recommends that the setting up of the Secretariat of STI in Uganda should have guidelines on how the innovation fund can be accessed by the scientists compared to what Turkey is also doing. The government of Uganda should invest in building and upgrading infrastructure support STI activities and innovation hubs. Government should also learn from Turkey to designate land for innovation hubs in the industrial parks. The government of Uganda can also organize the industrial parks in two sectors to ease the allocation of parks and finances. It is a prayer that this report is allocated time for full debate, and the matters that arise from the observation of the committee are put under efficient utilization by the STI Secretariat. I beg to move.
To lay.
I've already laid.
That was the second one you already.
I'll read the second report on the visit to Turkey.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Items 7.4, legal papers.
No, 7.3. Oh, because, okay, yes. Sorry, continue.
7.4, report of the Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation on a study visit regarding the integration of information technology to spur efficiency in service delivery and socio-economic development.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to lay the report on the Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation on the study visit in Kenya regarding the integration of information technology to spur efficiency in service delivery and socio-economic development. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Highlights.
The team visited Kenya and looked at the following organizations: Kenya Education Network, Microsoft, Amazon Web Service, and Taifa contribution to, to Kenya's education sector. All these agencies or organizations are looking at the digital and the internet connectivity to different sectors that can transform Kenya into efficiency in their day-to-day running of their organizations. So under Microsoft, the team noted that there is there is a value chain between industries and the Microsoft. So there is a linkage between the Microsoft organization and other government organization, especially in the digital transformation. And this Microsoft is cutting across in many departments, especially education, climate change, food security, and health care. The next agency that we visited was Amazon. Amazon was also trying to collect data, especially in cloud computing, to store up the data, which data can be used by different agencies of government. Then we also visited Taifa Computer Assembly Line. In Kenya, this organization is producing iPads, which iPads are also being distributed to schools, and actually realize that most of these schools in Kenya, they have access to these iPads. Therefore, Uganda can borrow a leaf of having some of these organizations established here, so that more iPads are produced and our children can access these facilities. So, in a nutshell, these visits of the four agencies, we came to realize that in Uganda we're still behind, much as efforts are being done, especially in the digital transformation in schools, in hospitals, and in many other organizations. So a lot can be learned from these bills, and the details can be derived from the report. I beg not to lay, I've already laid. I will the report.
Thank you, Chair. Well done. 3 reports. Honorable colleagues, let's thank our Chair. 3 reports and you know, colleagues, whereas some of you are struggling on who to quote, people like Dr. Florence and Professor Mshemeza, they quote themselves. They quote their own publication. Yeah? So that's why sometimes they find it difficult on how we are rushing, how we want a summary, when she has written 200,000 pages. And you're saying she should summarize in a minute. But these are critical reports. And I think, Crack, you cross-check. There are other reports which he had laid some time back. And oh, that was agriculture, okay. But these ones, put them on the order paper for Tuesday. 3 of them, I think, can be debated together, Honorable. Yes, 3 of them can be debated together. Tuesday, we sort them out. Procedure, Honorable Kayondo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in my profession, however good you are...
What's your profession?
However good you are, after some time, you have to be taken for a refresher course. However good you are.
But what's your profession? We just want to
I'm
know.
a chemist.
Okay.
However good you are, you have to be taken for a refresher course. Being taken for a refresher course doesn't mean that you don't know what you are doing, but it is mandatory. Won't we be proceeding well if some of our leaders and chairpersons, and we as parliament, we are taken back for refresher induction? I'm saying that we'll be proceeding well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that's why, Honorable, we held an induction last week of committee chairpersons, together with the cracks, by the way. We had to do it together, because we know we always, new developments come in and all that. So, but the best induction, Honorable colleagues, is being here. Being here. Here. Because I've seen members struggling to switch on with the microphone. Now, that one I don't know how we shall take you for induction for that. But at least if you always come here and you peep, you keep looking at how others do it, then you won't struggle. You know, you just place once, and but someone places 3 times. On, off, on, off. When it reaches on, off, then they start talking. So the best induction is, but also, honorable colleagues, running from each other. We have here legislators who have been here for long. Just come near Honorable Sewungu. And you say, but Honorable, because you see, running sometimes has to be a personal initiative. I have very many. Come to Honorable Nzima. Honorable Nzima has been here for some time. You come to Honorable Kagwera Stephen there. Hey, these are historicals who have been here, Honorable Choma, the Honorable Nandara, you know. Yeah, so people like Honorable Namuga Goretti should be going to Honorable Choma to run and, you know. You know. Oh, unfortunately, Honorable Namuga is the boss of Honorable Choma. So. Okay, next item. But learning from each other is the best.
Item 8, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on food and animal feed security interventions in the country.
Thank you. Chair Committee on Agriculture, as you're coming, Honorable Namuga, is an issue. Chair Committee on Agriculture can be taking your position.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the report of science and technology that the chair has just laid before us, this is a very, very important sector in the country. And Mr. Speaker, you have referred it to next Tuesday. That will be like 1 week approximately. And I'm asking through you, Mr. Speaker, whether it will not be procedurally right for the chair this time round on Tuesday to come up with a brief, because this is a new sector, very crucial, and some of the members who are not here will be in the House on that day and will be willing to debate this very important report. I thank you.
Why a brief when she has given a report? Okay, now we have reports. And you know, that's what makes us lazy. We want to read by listening. So now I've given you 1 week. Go read the reports, consult, dig much deeper. And then when you come on Tuesday, you make very serious debate here. I think it would be better, Honorable Santa, instead of members waiting for a summary, now they have, and they are not very big reports. So let's read through, okay? Thank you. Chair Agriculture, your item has already been called. Honorable Watkins, what's the issue?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to tap into the advantage of having the Attorney General in the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, the reason why our interventions, especially from government, don't make a lot of impact is just because our interventions are not based on STI, science, technology, and innovation. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's a procedural issue.
No. You see, Honorable, when you say you're taking advantage of the presence of the Attorney General, he's always here. Okay? Now, I don't want us to debate a report as if the Attorney General is not coming. So it's...
I'm seeking his opinion, Mr. Speaker, sir, on a procedural grounds. Mr. Speaker, sir, every time government wants to come up with a program, we ask the sector or a ministry a certificate of financial implication. Mr. Speaker, sir, on this particular floor, I've raised it multiple times. That it's not enough to ask a ministry for a certificate of financial implication. We should go an extra mile. You're asking for this money. Yes, our citizens need this money or that program. But can you serve us with a certificate of STI, science, technology, and innovation, for us to be sure that the program or the intervention that you want to put in place will have the desired impact, Mr. Speaker?
Now, honorable colleagues, whenever certificates of that nature are required, it's expressly stated in the law. The Climate Change Act asks for a certificate of climate change for the whole budget. You have a certificate of gender and equity. You have a certificate of financial implications. So it's not the Attorney General to do that. It's the laws we are making. Okay? So please, honorable colleagues, let's move on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My only thing was, can the Attorney General, to me, as, let me say, as a scholar, do we have enough room legally to accommodate a certificate of STI?
Attorney General?
Because that is critical. Otherwise, all of these things, intervention will be meaningless without STI. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The question is, do we have any room to accommodate a certificate of STI? The answer is yes.
Right.
When Parliament is conducting any matter, especially when it's dealing with oversight and legislation, it is at liberty to consider everything required to make the necessary policy guidance or law. So if Parliament felt the need to have a certificate for STI, that's perfectly fine. In government, actually, for all the bills that come here, we have what we call a regulatory impact assessment. Right. It's not provided for in the law, but it's a policy. So we go out and say, what will this law, how will it affect the regulation in the country? So yes, we do have room. And I thank you that we should actually use it. Thank you.
Yeah, but Attorney General, why I was clarifying properly on that, I don't want next year we reach here on a budget and the members say, where is the certificate of STI? We can't process a budget without a certificate of STI. And they quote the Attorney General that he said we can ask for it, without it we can't process a budget. That's why I want us to be very clear. Whatever is needed, we know it's either anchored in the law or it's not mandatory. Is it mandatory?
No, it's not mandatory. And if anyone asks for it, the House must first all agree that for that particular aspect, it is required and they need it to help them make that decision. But it's not mandatory. Whatever is mandatory is clearly set out in the relevant law. Thank you.
Thank you. I've given Chairperson Committee on Agriculture time to finish something small to do with the report. Let's be taking Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Item 9, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the prisoner exchange program between the Republic of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Chair. Since we have our Minister for Defense and Minister of Foreign Affairs doesn't usually deal with issues of, we have security here, we have defense. I'm sure it's sufficient. We can have a debate and sort out this matter. Chair, 20 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. In accordance with Rule 33, Sub-Rule 1 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to lay a report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the prisoner exchange program between the Republic of Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay copies of minutes for the committee meetings that process this report. I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, in accordance with Rule 33, Sub-Rule 2 of our Rules of Procedure, I beg to present the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the prisoner exchange program between the Republic of Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. Mr. Speaker, sir.
3.0, then we move. We start with 3.0.
I proceed to the report, of course presenting the summary as you're guiding. I believe members will be able to look through. I proceed to 3.0, because 1.1, the mandate of the committee, the background that led us to this activity
Oh,
that was
Honorable
undertaken,
Chair,
then 2.0
Chair,
methodology.
since it is short,
The findings.
since it is short,
Very short.
you can read it.
Less
but
than
like
10 minutes.
methodology and what,
Mm.
you can jump it. So read all of it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I proceed to read the findings and observations of the Committee of Foreign Affairs. However, I want to draw the attention of members on 1.1 on the background of this report, which members can read on their own. Finding 3.1, Right Honourable Speaker, on the plight of Ugandans in prisons in DRC. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Committee of Foreign Affairs learned that the issue of Ugandans imprisoned in DRC was a recurrent topic which formed a key item in the framework of the Joint Permanent Commission JPC meetings. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, on the number of Ugandans in prisons in DRC, the Committee on Foreign Affairs held a meeting with the head of the Uganda Embassy in Kinshasa in November 2022. Efforts were still ongoing to establish a formal cooperation mechanism between Uganda and DRC to address the problem. These efforts had been ongoing since 2014 up to 2022 when the committee interacted with the mission's officials. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the committee was informed that the following were the number of Ugandans in prisons in DRC, and of course, a list of Ugandans in prison has been attached under Appendix A. Makala Prison in Kinshasa, 13 prisoners. Unfortunately, out of these, 4 died. Right Honourable Speaker, Dolo Prison in Kinshasa, 64 prisoners. Goma Central Prison, North Kivu, 32. Bunia Central Prison, Ituri, 26, in total 135 prisoners. Observation of the committee. All the above, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, are Ugandans who were imprisoned on various charges, most of whom were sentenced to a period not less than 20 years. The details are attached here with an Appendix B. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the committee further learned that at the 6th JPC meeting, which took place in Kinshasa in 2014, it was agreed that Uganda should draft a memorandum of understanding and present it to DRC for consideration. The MOU was drafted and presented as requested, but at the time of the committee's meeting in November 2022, DRC was yet to respond. Honourable Speaker, in October 2018, during the 7th session of the JPC, which took place in Kampala, the same issue was raised, and it was agreed that Uganda should resubmit the draft MOU within 1 month after JPC meetings, and also convene a meeting to discuss and conclude the draft MOU within the next 6 months. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, it is important to note that, despite the fact that the draft MOU was submitted, there was no response from DRC as at November 2022. 3.2, release of prisoners. It was further agreed during the JPC that the two countries would work out modalities for the speedy release of prisoners, especially fishermen and those with minor cases. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. The two countries also agreed to allow consular access to nationals in prisons. In April 2019, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Minister of Justice of DRC granted the Uganda Embassy consular access to Ugandans in prisons in DRC, and consular visits were undertaken in Kinshasa and in eastern DRC. Several Ugandans were found in prisons, and they were also yearning for justice since they were imprisoned without any trial. They were also not certain of their time of release. The Ugandan Embassy brought the matter to the attention of the Ministry of Justice of DRC and was awaiting action response. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, during the visit of President Felix Tshisekedi to Uganda in November 2019, the two presidents took note of the arbitrary arrest and the prolonged detention of nationals in prisons and reiterated the urgent need for a prisoner exchange program to release prisoners, especially fishermen and prisoners with minor cases. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, following that meeting, the President of Uganda used his prerogative of mercy and pardoned 141 Congolese nationals who had been detained in Ugandan prisons. He ordered for their release and handed over
and hand over to the DRC authorities. And it was done on the 9th and 10th June 2020 through the border posts of Busanza, Banangana, Goli, Pondwe, Wanseko, and Toroko. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, in the same month of June 2020, the Uganda Embassy in Kinshasa, DRC, requested the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Justice of the Democratic Republic of Congo to consider releasing Ugandan nationals who were in the prisons in DRC. In August 2021, the ambassador of Uganda in DRC, together with the leadership of North Kivu, held several meetings which culminated into the release of 76 Congolese and 54 Ugandans. These had been charged with illicit fishing. All the confiscated fishing gears was returned to both parties. In June 2022, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Director of Public Prosecution of Uganda participated in a meeting in Kinshasa under the auspices of International Conference on the Great Lakes region over the same issue of prisoners. In the same month, the Minister of Justice of DRC paid a visit to Congolese nationals in Uganda prisons and pledged to fast-track the prison exchange program. On 30th October 2020, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Uganda Embassy was granted access to prisons in DRC. The mission promised to continue prison visits and transmit to the authorities in DRC the cases of Ugandans in prisons in DRC. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, observation of the committee. It was observed that although both states agreed to release and exchange prisoners, at the time of the committee's interaction with the mission, there was no extradition treaty between the two countries to effectively facilitate the process of extraditing the prisoners. DRC undertook to provide a draft of a treaty, but it's yet to be presented. Right Honourable Speaker, legal attaché. The committee observed that Uganda mission abroad lack prerequisite attaches such as legal attaches. Absence of such staff denies Ugandans abroad the following services. Right Honourable Speaker, appropriate coordination of legal assistance overseas will be denied, sharing investigative leads and information, managing country clearances, and coordinating victim and humanitarian assistance, so among things that will be denied. Under recommendations, Mr. Speaker, sir, 4.1, legal attaches should be deployed at all missions to facilitate Ugandans in the diaspora and to ease access to legal facilities in countries where Ugandans missions are hosted. Recommendation number 2, Honourable Speaker and colleague, an extradition treaty between DRC and Uganda should be negotiated to effectively facilitate the process of extraditing the prisoners in the two countries. Number 3, Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that government should enhance engagement with the DRC government in order to fast-track the signing of all pending agreements. Then 4, Uganda Embassy should always reach out to Ugandans and encourage them to register their presence and to live within the confines of the law. The government of Uganda should reclassify its missions abroad. Right Honourable Speaker, finally on recommendation, government of Uganda should come up with a tentative post-exchange rehabilitation program to help the released prisoners to fit back in their society. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to report to this House for onward process as you may guide for discussion of the report and final adoption. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. A good job done.
Thank you.
Foreign Affairs has another small report. Let's get it and we handle them at once.
Item 10, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on allegation that Uganda High Commission in Pretoria, South Africa acquired a mortgage purchase accommodation facilities for its staff.
Thank you. Honourable Chair.
Right Honourable Speaker, in accordance with Rule 33, Sub-Rule 1 of the Rules of Procedure, I beg to lay the minutes and the accompanying report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on an allegation that the Uganda High Commission in Pretoria, South Africa, acquired a mortgage to purchase accommodation for its staff. I beg to lay. Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Rule 33, Sub-Rule 2 of the Rules of Procedure, I beg to present a summary of the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on allegation that the Uganda High Commission in Pretoria, South Africa, acquired a mortgage to purchase accommodation for staff. Right Honorable Speaker, the mandate of the committee is as stated in the report. Background to the assignment. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 32nd sitting of the first meeting of the second session of the 11th Parliament, which was held on the 21st of September 22, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker directed the Committee on Foreign Affairs, number one, to get the details of information given by the Honorable Asimwe Florence Akiki in her advice to government that the Uganda High Commission in Pretoria, South Africa should be emulated by other missions and get mortgages to acquire accommodation facilities for their staff. Hence, reduce on accommodation expenditure, whilst at the same time retain the properties as properties of Uganda. A copy of Honorable Asimwe's statement is attached in Appendix A. 2. In the event that the mission obtained a mortgage, the committee should establish who authorized the borrowing, since borrowing can only be approved by Parliament, as provided by Article 159(2) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Section 36 of the Public Finance and Management Act. Right Honorable Speaker, the oversight report is guided by the terms of reference and methodology as stated. Number 4, findings and observations. Right Honorable Speaker, the ambassador in his communication, that's the ambassador of Uganda's ambassador to Pretoria, in his communication dated 11th of August 2023, informed the committee that the allegations were false and were taken out of context, and the Uganda High Commission in Pretoria had never acquired a mortgage to buy accommodation facilities for its staff. He, however, added that the mission wrote to the Minister of Foreign Affairs requesting for permission to get a mortgage, in which letter he suggested that if funds are available, government could make an outright full payment for the properties, or alternatively obtain mortgages that would be financed by the monthly rental payments. However, according to his statement, the requests were rejected by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Please note, Right Honorable Speaker, that the committee requested for copies of the said letters, but they were not availed. Meanwhile, the Minister of Foreign Affairs denied ever having received such letters from the mission in Pretoria. His Excellency, the Ambassador, further informed the delegation that during a meeting held with the Committee of this Parliament of Trade, Tourism and Industry at the Chancery in Pretoria, that was from the 20th to the 30th of July 23, he presented a verbal proposal suggesting that the government of Uganda should reconsider or should consider acquiring properties for home-based staff who are posted in Pretoria in order to reduce the cost of rent incurred by the mission. He emphasized the fact that government of Uganda was losing a lot of money in rental payments for staff. He advised that 3 billion which Uganda allocated for rent would be sufficient to secure properties through a mortgage. The committee observed that the proposal for the acquisition of was a good idea. However, it requires a policy position from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as the support of the executive and Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, in order to establish whether the properties were secure, the committee made findings on the title deeds of the following properties of Uganda and South Africa. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues are aware that Uganda Land Commission is mandated to, where applicable, hold and manage any land acquired by government abroad, and to procure certificates of title for any land vested in or acquired by government. The committee invited the Uganda Land Commission, in other words, ULC, to establish whether the properties in South Africa were duly owned by the government of Uganda. Thus, on the 15th, there's a correction there, Right Honorable Speaker. The dates had been intermixed. On the 15th of November 23, the committee invited ULC to present to it the original certificates of title for the Chancery and the official residence of the mission in Pretoria. In a meeting held on the 22nd of November 2023, and that was the meeting that was interfaced with the committee, the Acting Secretary General for Uganda Land Commission, Mr. Andrew Nyumba, informed the committee that the original certificates of title for the official residence and the Chancery of Uganda in Pretoria were not available, and that ULC did not have the copies. He stated that the Uganda Land Commission had reached out to Ambassador Paul Amoru in Pretoria asking for the certificates of title, who stated, and that is Ambassador Amoru, that he had never seen those titles. The committee was further informed by Uganda Land Commission. The committee was further informed that Uganda Land Commission went ahead and contacted the former accounting officer, that's Ambassador Sarah Nakamia, who also stated that she had never seen the titles during her tenure of office. The Acting Secretary General ULC further reached out to Ambassador Julius Mugume, who is the ambassador who replaced Ambassador Paul Amoru, who also indicated that he was not aware of the certificate's availability. Right Honorable Speaker, members of the committee were concerned that the Uganda Land Commission did not have the original titles, and that fruitless efforts had been made to trace the whereabouts of the certificates of title from various ambassadors who had been in charge of the mission in Pretoria. Therefore, the committee observed that the fact that more than one ambassador who had been in charge of the mission in Pretoria denied having seen the certificates of title or their copies indicates that the ambassadors occupy and leave office without proper handovers to their successors. This generally puts Uganda's property abroad at risk, and that is amongst other issues. Right Honorable Speaker, having observed that the authority that is supposed to keep custody of Uganda certificates of title, that is the Uganda Land Commission, declared that it did not have the said certificates of title. The committee agreed to convene a joint meeting between all the stakeholders to the said properties, which parties included the entire Uganda Land Commission Board, its parent ministry, and that is the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the ambassador of Uganda in Pretoria, and that's Ambassador Amoru. This meeting was aimed at getting a clarification on the whereabouts of Uganda certificates of title for its residents at the Chancery in Pretoria. Observation arising from the joint meeting. One, the Chancery. The Chancery is located at 882 Church Street, Arcadia, 0083, Pretoria, while the Ministry of Foreign Affairs eventually provided proof that it handed over the deed, the title deed for the Chancery to ULC, of which copy is attached in Appendix B. ULC claimed that it could not trace the said title deed. Secondly, the same Chancery that covers 2,014 square meters was leased for a fixed period of 12 months, renewable. The lease commencement date was 1st of April 2010. The committee was not given any proof of whether the lease was renewed every after 12 months, as should be the case. However, the committee observed that even after a very long search by ULC, ULC was not able or was not in a position to locate the title deed for the Chancery, the official residence. The official residence is located at 297 Grove Street, Waterloo Ridge in Pretoria, despite the fact that the official residence is said to be located at Waterloo Ridge Township. The said ERF number, which is 297, ERF meaning the plot number, is different from the number indicated in the title, which was availed to the committee, which reads ERF 515 Waterloo Ridge Township. It should be remembered that this is a title deed that was availed to the committee after the Uganda Land Commission had been seriously cautioned and sent out of the first meeting. A month later, after their return, ULC was able to avail the deed, and the acting secretary stated that it was obtained again after a very long search. The official residence, which covers 2,886 square meters, was leased as at a fixed period of 6 months. That was in 1995. However, the committee was not given again any proof of whether the lease is renewed at the end of every 6 months. Recommendation: noting that the title deeds were acquired on leasehold as indicated above, the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, in conjunction with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, should present to this Parliament a report on the status of all properties abroad, either owned or leased. Number 5, observations on the approved budget estimates for financial year 2022-23, 21-22, and 20-21. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee, given these budget approvals, could not verify a specific allocation for mortgaging. On the other hand, the committee requested for the bank statements of the mission for the financial years as above, of which records, again, the committee could not verify whether a mortgage was actually acquired. Since the committee was not availed with the bank statements of the above mentioned dates, it cannot meaningfully make a valid conclusion as to the existence of a mortgage in South Africa. Staff accommodation and tenancy agreement is as stated. Because of time, I'll skip it. And from the established facts that have been presented above, the committee made the following observations: that the monthly rental fees are quite high, generally in South Africa, and they vary from property to property. Staff tenancy agreements indicated that the agreements were made between the mission and the following landlords: Zelda Muller, William Heymans Trust, and Del Faro properties. 3, the committee was informed that the staff accommodation payment is directly remitted from the bank account of the mission to the landlord's bank accounts. However, a scrutiny of the bank statements of the mission revealed that rental payments were only remitted or sent to only one landlord, namely Del Faro Properties, and as indicated in the table below. The reasons for this action was not explained. The committee cannot therefore tell whether the mission pays Del Faro, who later remits respective rental payments to other landlords, or otherwise. Recommendation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs should explain to this Parliament how other landlords are paid, since it was not indicated on the bank statements that were unveiled to the committee. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, number 8 is the Auditor General's report. Is as stated in the report. I'll skip it and go straight to the observations. The committee observed that the Auditor General did not audit accounts of Uganda Mission in Pretoria for financial years 2019-2020, 2020-21. In view of the Auditor General's statement that he did not audit Uganda High Commission mission in Pretoria during the years that have been mentioned, the committee recommends that an audit of the mission for the financial years that again have been mentioned be carried out and the report be presented. General observations. In a meeting held on the 22nd of November 2023, the Acting Secretary General to Uganda Land Commission informed the committee that the certificates of title under investigations were not availed to ULC. The committee, however, observed that in a letter dated 12 May 2017, referenced as ULC 44/183/01, of which copy is attached in Appendix G, Uganda Land Commission requested the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to provide it, that is the ULC, with a land inventory being managed on behalf of ULC. Indeed, in a reply or response by the Minister of Foreign Affairs dated the 16th of May 2017, ULC was availed with a copy of the land inventory being managed on behalf of ULC, in which inventory it was indicated that the location of the original land titles for the official residence and the chancery in Pretoria were with ULC. The committee further observed that the Uganda Land Commission was actually a disorganized entity and requires a complete overhaul to enable it to streamline its operations. Otherwise, Uganda's properties under its custody are at risk of disappearing. General recommendations. Government should carry out a feasibility study to establish the required cost of acquiring properties in countries where Uganda's missions are located in order to reduce on the cost of accommodation, which is immense. This will also enable a comparative cost-benefit analysis of acquiring or construction construction versus renting of the properties. The Auditor General should carry out, again, a special audit on the accounts and financial transactions of Uganda High Commission in Pretoria for the years that I've already mentioned, 2019, 2020, 2020-21, and 2021-2022, to establish whether there were any irregular acquisitions and payments of funds other than those approved by Parliament. and any irregular or suspicious payments made to any institutions or individual in South Africa from the accounts of the mission. The Auditor General should also establish the reason why only one landlord was being paid as indicated in the bank statements and not remitting payments to individual landlords with whom the tenancy agreements were signed. And that is amongst other contradictions raised in the report. Should it be found necessary to get external funds to enable all missions acquire properties, the Minister of Foreign Affairs should follow proper channels and expedite the process. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I beg that the report be adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, we have two reports that they presented.
Mr. Speaker, I want to proceed. Mr. Speaker, there is something very interesting before we discuss these reports, which needs to hear a quick answer. The Auditor General is the one who issues a warrant every financial year to charge the consolidated account. And the Auditor General is mandated to audit the accounts of Uganda on annual basis. The report is reading that they have not audited the accounts from 2019 up to some year, maybe 2024. Yet, to audit does not necessarily mean that you should even get a plane to go to South Africa. You can get the documentation and send to you, you look through, do verification. And also, one of the items to be audited are assets and liabilities. Now, the titles are saying are missing. The liabilities, we don't know what they are. So is it procedure right that you, the Speaker, is it procedure right that the Auditor General of Uganda, with an office of Parliament, can take 5 years without auditing account, and yet every year we come here to close the financial year. And when we close the financial year, it is on the basis of the Auditor General's report that we're closing that year. Did we close years without completion of audits?
Thank you.
And did we do it right? Did procedure right?
Thank you. Now, and this is the question we should also again ask ourselves as a House, because the Auditor General is an office of Parliament. Now, the committee that is in charge, that does oversight on missions abroad, if you received audit reports of all other missions and you find this mission was never audited, did you raise it with the leadership of the House or the Auditor General? So, but now, for now, I cannot answer that. I wanted to guide on this second report, but let's first start with, in the order they are in, with the report on DRC. A very, very sensitive report that is very straight, which I don't think we should even be debating. These are issues which the Attorney General. No, not on DRC, please. You see, exchange of prisoners, honorable colleagues, these are not issues. Exchange of prisoners, these are not issues of debate here. Okay? They are issues which are straight. Please, when the Speaker is ruling, okay, you don't start that business of, take your seat, please. Attorney General, I know issues which are sensitive and issues. I'm dealing with the DRC, okay? Attorney General, on this issue, I want first to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. And I really want to thank the committee for the report. It is true we do not have an extradition treaty, a direct extradition treaty with DRC, but we are members of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region, which you have mentioned. This treaty was domesticated, assented to here in 2017 and domesticated in 2018. Article 7 of that treaty allows us to deal with the issue of extradition, And we have been using it actually in our office when we are confronted with such an issue to deal with the issue of extradition. And we have succeeded in some instances. But the issue of extradition and a special exchange of prisoners, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, it's really not a must. The parties must agree, and the other party must agree in some instances to do that. But we've been trying to do that, and we'll take it up. Maybe I'll get some time and share more with the Committee of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Justice, and we know what else needs to be done. But we've been working with this treaty to try and get people back from Congo.
But now the committee, why choose only DRC of all countries? Because I remember it came as a matter of national importance. Okay? But
Right Honourable Speaker, when you look at the background of how this came about, this was a bit specific according to your directive on Uganda prisoners in Democratic Republic of Congo. And that is why this committee was very specific in this undertaking.
I remember it came from fishermen on Lake Albert.
The 32nd sitting of the first meeting of the second session where you guided on this, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Nzima, are you the one who raised it?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm not the one, but I have just risen because I had also raised a similar issue of a gentleman called Malamungu Rasul, who was arrested and detained in Beni. And Beni is not among the list of areas that have been read here. Actually, this issue, I learned it through from a lady who called me from Kasese, that she had gone to see her brother in a prison in Congo, in a place called Beni. And as they were releasing her brother, one of the prisoners also gave her a cheat through the brother, and they said, I'm his member of parliament, and she searched my name and the contacts in our website of parliament. So I raised this issue here, asking government to look for this gentleman and, if possible, retrieve him. Though after I had raised it, the officers from Ministry of Foreign Affairs called me for the details I gave them. But since then, up to now. So I expected, just as you have said, if we were talking about prisoners in Congo, we needed a comprehensive information for all these Ugandans in Congo. But also, the way they have raised it, I also expected them to give the details of these prisoners, the districts where they come from, and even the villages. And also update them, those whom they said are dead and the rest. So
thank you.
Maybe we need a comprehensive report.
There is, if you check on the report.
Okay, fine. But we needed that.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Similarly, on that issue, my query was on why we're focusing on Congo. We are reliably informed that we have prisoners in so many countries. Of course, in China, South Africa, and other countries. But my big question on that, of course, being imprisoned in a foreign country is something else compared to being in prison in your own country. Much as we want to conduct that exchange between countries for prisoners, but the crimes differ. You'd find out that we are bringing back prisoners who were arrested on charges of maybe bad fishing on lakes, and now we're taking back criminals that committed very hardcore crimes in our country. We need to be very clear on what criteria are we doing the prisoner exchange. Because we may end up giving away hardcore criminals who committed very grievous crimes in Uganda and getting back Ugandans who committed very light criminal activities in Congo.
Honorable Mwada, Shadow Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. As a Shadow Minister, what is even more concerning is first, the line minister for foreign affairs is ever missing. And we have 2 other state ministers who are even equally missing. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, when it comes to DRC, I've raised it on this floor before, and I want to raise it now. That as we discuss the exchange of prisoners, as we speak now, we don't have a substantive ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The ambassador who was posted 3 years ago, possibly, was never accredited by the DRC. When we are discussing and the government is briefing us that there is negotiation, it also, we must receive it with the lacuna within the representation we have. With the lack of a substantive ambassador to DRC means our diplomatic efforts are questionable. We can't tell who is handling what and who is answerable to the government of Uganda in terms of our negotiation. Probably when we face such a scenario, we must ask ourselves, and we must ask the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Last time the Minister of East African Affairs was here, she conceded to that fact on the floor of Parliament here. To date, we don't know what action has been taken to ensure that we have effective diplomatic representation as a country, and possibly also for DRC to send a substantive ambassador to Uganda. I haven't heard of any. And this is quite alarming. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, if you could allow me to comment about South Africa.
No. Please, let's finish one.
And as well, right now, if I'm to conclude on prisoners, we also want the Minister of Foreign Affairs to come out strongly and talk about the prisoners, the Uganda prisoners we have in Cairo. We have thousands in Cairo who are detained in the Middle East, those stranded in Dubai and in India, among others. Recently, we are making cries for those who had been detained in rebel hands within Myanmar. It had to be the efforts of the International Organization for Migration to bail us. But the Minister of Foreign Affairs hasn't substantively come to this floor to tell us what has been done and what is being done in terms of Uganda, and equally to negotiate our diplomatic presence and protection for our country. And this is equally related to failure to negotiate protective bilateral labor agreements, because largely many of our prisoners in DRC are fishermen. It's very alarming.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues and Chair, you see, when we give you such an assignment, you can widen your scope to look at the issue in a wide perspective without, of course, looking for each and every country. This is very specific, honorable colleagues. This is extremely specific. I think it would be very important for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to come and update this House on the foreign, on Ugandans held in foreign prisons abroad, and if there are efforts, efforts being made to help them return home. That does not mean we've said go and bring them back home. No, the efforts, and if there is any support we can give. But for now, the report is very clear. Please, I now put a question that the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the prison exchange program between the Republic of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo be adopted. Those in favor say aye to the content aye. The ayes have it. Now, I want, please, Honorable, on action taken report, this is where the Minister would now bring a detailed report. Because as of now, I don't see how you can justify DRC. You leave China, you leave Saudi, you leave South Africa, you leave, and countries always do this. They negotiate for their prisoners, either through swaps or what. Honorable Boss, you wanted to comment on? No, I have allowed Honorable Boss. I have allowed the Minister. This is not the usual Boss. You've been here. Minister, and not just a mere minister, but Minister of Defense.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I must first thank you for those very kind words, and also extend our wishes, the good wishes for the protection that God gave you. But the information that I would love to give to this House, which has been in circulation, and I would assume that the other minister, shadow minister, should be knowing. I've moved around, including in Kinshasa. I've gone to China also. Apparently, not everyone who happens to be in those prisons are Ugandans. So there is a deeper work that probably it will need the works of the intervention of the two committees, probably, of internal and defense with the foreign affairs. But in Congo, it's very, very clear that some of the things are complicated, and it is not true that we don't have somebody there who is working. Mr. Ambassador Twaha Matanta, I was with him even just last week. Here is doing the work. Diplomatic issues, you may blame the foreign affairs, but that's how they are trained. They are very diplomatic. They don't yap, and they do so many things behind the curtains. So we shouldn't dismiss them for not doing. You don't wait for the minister.
Thank you. No, Honorable Seungo, please. We don't have anyone on the floor. They've told you to wait for the minister. Honorable colleagues, let's handle this. Rule 220 of our rules of procedure, which requires action taken reports. I don't know. I think a month would be enough to compile these lists, because again, I don't want to send a committee on the wild chase of, to start running around saying you've not facilitated us to go to this country, to this country. Let the minister, he should be having details. No, I don't need help. I don't need help now. No. That's covered. We go to the one of South Africa. Let's wait for the minister to bring a report. Please, Honorable Seungu, take your seat. I request you. Thank you. I know where this will lead. Honorable colleagues, now, the one of South Africa. I think it will be prudent if we wait for the minister, because these issues are very, very critical. But also, the issues are very specific in nature. Some are even scary on how some of these things are ongoing. So I would suggest that we give a minister 1 week, and we tell him to come up with a comprehensive response to these issues. He puts it here, and then we are able to debate. They are very specific, okay? So this one, Tuesday next week. To the next week. Next week we are going to handle. Next week. I had agriculture. We stood off agriculture. Yeah, Chair. Your item had already been called.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On my own behalf and the people of Lira District, we would like to thank God for sparing your life. Continue doing the great work. That's how God will pay you, and also on behalf of my committee. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to lay on table the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry, and Fisheries on Food and Animal Feed Security Intervention in the country. I beg to lay the minutes. Right Honorable. Right Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries undertook oversight visit to agencies implementing the government and Cabinet approved food and animal feeds security intervention following the recent famine in Karamoja and other parts of the country by then. The implementing agencies were UPDF, Uganda Prisons, NARO, NAGRIC, Veterans, NEC, all supervised and coordinated by MAIF. The background to this intervention was that the National Food Security Outlook indicates that food insecurity in the respective regions, as Karamoja was 41%, Teso 21.4%, Acholi, Lango, and West Nile 19.4%, Buganda 17.7%, Renzori 6.3%, Busoga, Bukedi, Bugisu, Sebei 5.4%, and Bunyoro and Kole Chigezi 4.2%. This is according to MAIF and UBO's 2022 report. The ministry established that the factors contributing to these statistics included unpredictable weather patterns, droughts, pest and disease outbreaks. In effect of the COVID-19 pandemic was one of it, limited supply and availability of fertilizers due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Lack of water for production, limited access to irrigation facilities, inadequate mechanization and insecurity, especially in the Karamoja and areas with bad and low terrain of land. This resulted into increased retail food prices, according to UBOS.
Honorable Chair, this is a field visit report of the committee.
Yes.
Yeah, it's provided for under Rule 34.
Yes.
You should just lay it on table and give highlights of the findings.
It's okay.
Then I appoint a date for debate.
I wanted to give the background because it was a bit overdue.
You just you go by
Thank
the rules.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. Right Honorable, in addition to that, Cabinet also approved large-scale private landowners to combat the issue of food security program in the second season through provision of finances to clear and open land to plant these crops. The rationale, pursuant to Article 90, Clause 1 of the Constitution, Rule 156, 159, 187, and 189 of the Rules of Procedures, the committee were allowed to go and do oversight. The objectives were clear: to assess and review the food and animal feed security strategy and intervention with a view to determine their viability and sustainability. To assess and evaluate the performance, to make also recommendations. Findings, we are moving forward to that. One, I would like to not go to findings, observation. I need time for this because it's very important. The committee observed that most operations, especially land clearing, crop protection, and harvesting, were manually done. Uganda Prisons uses their available resources, that's labor and machinery, and do not outsource or hire external services.
Honorable, the rules don't allow you to go into that. I'm just
Thank you.
Yeah, just listen to me, okay? I'm using your rules. Rule 34, 2.
Yes.
Upon laying of the report under sub-rule 1, the chairperson or the members shall present a brief summary of the report and highlight the key recommendations contained in the report. Then I will appoint a date for debate, meaning members should go and read the full report. We are not debating today. Okay? So just go on recommendations as required in the rules.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable. These were the general recommendations of the committee. 1, post-harvest handling. The grains and seed and feeds produced were not professionally handled, threshed and cleaned. 2, market. There should be also fully developed market strategy in the other planting seasons to relieve pressure on the market, leaving the public to have access to enough food. UPDF and NEC and the veterans should sell the grains to the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs to feed the army. These were the recommendations. This will relieve pressure on the open market and reduce the high cost of feeding. 4, that's Narrow and Uganda Prison should sell the seed to the open market, stroke public, since the 4 mentioned agencies have been producing seeds. They should continue using their market channels for helping in seed multiplication. Uganda Prisons will offtake the grain it produces to feed the prisoners, other than government buying. NAGRIC should sell the feed to open market and public at subsidized price, affordable to the public. And I think we have benefited because of the animal feeds produced by NAGRIC. MAIF should deploy extension of staff at every farm to guide and supervise the harvesting and post-harvest handling activities, and to ensure a certain and record the volume tonnage produced per acre. Government should get a permanent solution on land grabbing and more stringent penalties to be preferred to the land grabbers. There should be timely release of funds to enable timely execution of time-bound activities. Subsequent planning and implementation of seed production should also be done early and timely enough in order to catch up with the seasons. Associated farm machinery should be planned to solve the challenge of farm labor required for the large-scale production activities. Post-harvest handling capacity of produce should be well planned. This should be before the next season. This is to solve the problem of storage and processing. MAIF should ensure that irrigation facilities are procured, available to the implementing agencies. The agencies should acquire agricultural machineries like tractors, planters, and movable irrigation and spraying drones to supplement on the manual labor and rainfall shortages. For sustainability, Right Honorable Speaker, proper coordination and management of the intervention, MAIF should turn this intervention into a national food security program, managed within MAIF, but working with the private sector and other ministries, such as Defense, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Trade, and Ministry of Water and Environment. This also needs us to have, as a nation, a national storage facility, because it will help us. Right Honorable Speaker, that's the recommendation of the Committee on the Intervention of Food and Animal Feed Security in this country.
Thank you.
I beg that the members and this House adopt this report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The rules require me, Honorable Chair, to appoint a date for debate. Honorable Minister, we can do that tomorrow. It's a small report. We can do. No, because you see, it's designed in such a way that members should read the report. So we can go through it tonight. Tomorrow we debate it and we conclude.
Right Honorable Speaker, we are ready to debate tomorrow. Shall be available. And I also want to congratulate you for surviving the accident, and also to warn you about these helicopters. Right Honorable Speaker.
Since I've been warned by a veteran, because Honorable, I was waiting for the Minister of Defense to warn me. He has only but anyway, our honorable colleagues, the aviation industry is a very safe industry. I really do not want my unfortunate incident to kill the whole sector, when in other countries it's raking in billions for the economy and employing very many of our people. Accidents happen, and maybe more caution needs to be done. But now, this is for me as an individual. I will take the advice as an individual. Honorable Guzuri, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and the Chair for the committee are here. We requested as a House the Committee on Agriculture to go out, study implementation of the Agricultural Cluster Development Project
and bring a report here to the House. For quite some time, I don't know where that report has been shelved. The committee produced that report and submitted to Parliament, and that report cannot find its way on the order paper. And we know some of the issues that relate to food security are linked to that report. So can I please seek your indulgence that we get that report and we know what is exactly happening with that project, since these two people are here.
Chair, is the report already uploaded?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. This report, I was told, because it was even worked on before I became a member of the committee, but I was told that the report was ready and uploaded, but the presentation was deferred. So anytime we can still bring it back.
So, Honourable Minister, do you think you could read through the report tonight, since it's uploaded, then tomorrow it's presented, and then we have a debate that sorts both of them out? Honourable Wanika?
Right Honourable, one of the schemes that ensures food safety in this country and food security, they are the seeds which you receive through the members of Parliament. And the rains are on. We are receiving calls from the countryside. I want to implore you, Right Honourable, that you speak to the minister, since the minister is here, so that they can provide the people of Uganda seeds. When they give us seeds, we take them to the people.
Did we budget for them?
Yes, we had provided for a budget. We had provided for those seeds.
Not we had. Are they in the budget?
I don't know whether they removed, but we had provided.
Because
we had provided.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable colleagues, you cannot eat your cake and have it. We took the money to PDM, and Minister of Agriculture was asked to avail list of certified seed suppliers, which we did to all local government. So the farmers get their money and buy their seeds. Yes.
No, Honourable colleague, there is something I want to put straight. We have finished budgeting. If an item is not in the budget, where would I best tell the minister to supply it? Yeah. So let's really, it's not in the budget, okay? We tried our level best. We came here, we rescinded. So there's no way I can tell the Minister for Agriculture. So honourable colleagues, read that report, and tomorrow it should put it on the order paper, should be captured. We have a joint debate for both reports. House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC. was brought to you by
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Tonight on UBC.
And today we have a very, very elegant lady. Most of you know her on the UBC News Tonight.
And then now joining UBC, it was like a walk in the park for me because I first started in radio. So it was just like a transition from...
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja Toro segment. Don't miss the romantic tale of an adventurous Prince Kaboyo Kasusunkwanzi who fell in love with the beautiful county of Toro.
Toro Kingdom was carved out of Bunyoro Kitara.
In 1830, King Nyamutukura akasindika omutabani we Kaboyo yekire Toro kama shongere kumumchwekere bukodo.
I'm forming my own kingdom.
Nyoro na Batoro basically muntu womu.
Tuko Pamoja? Showing in Fort Portal City at Nyaika Hotel on Sunday 18th August starting at 4:30 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.